What's up, everybody?
Woo!
How do you doing?
Welcome to Let's Party, Prayer, and Punk Rock.
What's up? My name is Drew.
And I'm Kat.
And how are you guys doing out there today?
Man, so many things to talk about.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Been 3 weeks out. Yeah, summering it out here.
And we hope that you are vacationing and having an awesome summer as well. We only have a few more weeks left, and our kids go back to school.
It's crazy. August 12th.
Yeah, that's so early.
That's way too early. It wasn't like that when I was a kid.
No, me either.
Not at all.
I don't know. Maybe, I guess they get out earlier or something than we did.
Yeah, I mean, like when I was a kid, you got out in June. Like June 23rd is usually around my sister's birthday.
Yeah.
And then you went back about September, 12th. You know,
Yeah,
usually a month later. Somewhere like
May.
after Labor Day, and usually it was like the second week of September.
Always
and
had
now
Labor
it's like
Day.
they get out before Memorial Day, and then go back like before Labor Day.
Yeah. Anyway, but we're on summer vibes.
Bummer for them.
Yeah. And kind of for me too, because now I'm a teacher, during the school year.
Yep.
And so I'm back at work in a few weeks too.
That is true.
And I've been enjoying doing like fun little, Reiki meditations, painting, cleaning, random jobs. But I'm ready for kiddos.
Journeywoman.
Yeah, the journeywoman. So what has happened? 4th of July happened.
Yeah, I guess it's been a little while, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went down to New Braunfels, down south in here in Texas, like south of Austin.
Yep.
45 minutes? Something like that?
About that. It's like beautiful.
It was awesome. There. Yeah, the vibe there is just, it's just incredible. It does have like a California vibe where it's just kind of laid back. And I mean, kind of more down south is a little bit of that in like this Austin area.
Yeah, you felt
but
at
this
home.
this was like just especially nice. I mean, it had like the hills and stuff. I forgot that I loved hills or that I missed hills. We're like going over the hills like, man, it feels like we're going like coming out of the valley or it just felt like home. It was really, and everyone down there was nice and gas was cheaper. Yeah, I got to see your family.
And we took Amelia, Sam, and Jack. So Nathaniel's such a big boy now. He's got his own.
He's got his own life.
Everything.
He has to work, so he watched Marley for us.
Yep. But I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's do a little prayer before. I know. I'm so excited to jump into all the things.
Let's do
per usual.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for this day, for this time together. Thank you for summer, vacation, and peace and rest. I ask that anyone who is listening, that you be with them in their own storms, in the own special way they need you most. And I ask that the message of the podcast that is about you reaches the ears of the people that need to hear it the most. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Yeah, so there's, of course, there's been quite a bit going on lately here. God, not only in our lives, but in the world. Yeah. Especially with, the
Trump
attempted
thing.
Assassination.
That happened on my birthday. Mm-hmm. My birthday was July 13th. I arrived at 43. Bam.
You are 43 years old.
Yep.
And you don't look it at all.
Love you so much. You're amazing.
Stop it. Please tell me more.
That happened on my birthday, which was such a trip. And just all of it was like nothing else was on TV, Still,
it was. And man, when I turned it on, it was like at 1:32 or whatever here. And like right when I turned it on is right when it happened. Yeah. And I was like, wait, what? What's going? And then they started saying,
everything.
Attempted. Looks like something's going on here, and it's like, what? I can't believe that.
That's crazy.
I mean, we've gotten to this point, it's not like this type of thing hasn't happened before. The last time was Ronald Reagan. And before that was like Ford and Kennedy. And still, man. This is kind of like nothing new, I guess, if you look in terms of like history. But man, it's to me, because when that thing with Ronald Reagan happened, I was like 3 or 4.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You were barely born.
Yeah.
I can't remember if that was like 81 or 82. He may not even been born yet.
Yeah.
But like, It's weird because to me, it's just like, wow, that's like kind of the first one that I've ever been a part of, kind of like gone through,
alive,
you know what I mean?
through, like grown.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like...
It's just scary. Like, I would not want to go to any political conference or meeting.
Yeah, and it's just, God, how extreme it's gotten.
And the fact that they didn't catch him, to me, is like...
Well, they did.
Well, I mean, prior to the shooting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of little things that they talk about as far as, why was he allowed to... Yeah, we don't need to get all controversial and...
Nope. That's not this space. No. It is not. But, that happened, and it's, like, insane to, like, say we were alive for it.
Yeah, and gosh, it's crazy to think that what we do to each other, this is like exactly what the devil would want, is a house divided.
Yeah, sure.
And this is what we're doing to ourselves. And we're trying to kill each other here as far as like, our political leaders, we're trying to assassinate them. I mean, and think about it. I mean, this goes back to David or any other king in the Old Testament, or New Testament, Bible times, whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, all through history.
Just leaders
it's like trying to topple the kings
and
assassinations and things like that. And it's still going on today. And it's like, like what goes on through these people's minds, I mean, like, do they really think that they're going to be like the first ones to get away with it? No one that's ever tried to assassinate or has gotten away with it. And you got to think, they know they're going to get caught, and it's like a suicide mission to them or something. It's a suicide
mission. It's like, but they believe in their minds, and I don't know for sure if this is the case for this person, but it was a young person, that they are doing something justified,
righteous in their head,
and so, but that's an illness. And obviously people who are well aren't going to do that, but for me, it's just like, where's the secret freaking service, man? Get that, like, handle that. I don't know, but...
Well, and I mean, I think...
It's unsafe.
And of course, in all of these situations, there's always got to be somebody to blame. There's always got to be somebody to blame, and so we're going to blame the Secret Service. And yeah, sure, I mean,
know, but still,
did they lack this, that, or the other? I mean, who really knows? But you know what? They could have been as tight-knit as ever, and if this happened, they still would be blamed for something. I mean, it's just, I mean, man, you hope, you train for something like that, but you really do hope that nothing like that's ever going to happen. And then one of the innocent bystanders behind him were actually killed. Yeah, shielding his wife and child. And someone else was injured, or I don't know how many other people were injured, but I know that one person died and another person was injured.
Well, we are told to pray for our leaders.
Yeah, and this is really when that whole, virtue of patience and perseverance comes into play.
Yes.
Because, I mean, it's really hard to, like, you see things like this and you just wonder, like, I mean, man, where are we going? I mean, and everyone wants, is this the end of the days? Is this, end of times? Look at everything that's happened,
life is never the answer.
No, never. I mean, man, as much as you want to hate somebody, and and hate's a strong word. My mom would always say, you don't hate, you just extremely dislike somebody. But
that sounds exactly like her.
Yeah. Oh, Drew. But I mean, yeah, to get to a point of doing something like that, what makes you think that doing something like that is ever going to resolve anything? Yeah. And it's just... It's sad to think that there's still people, and we still live in a world in our society and as human beings that this is what we still do. We just cycle back to the same crap like before.
Well, it goes back to, like, mental illness.
Oh, for sure. You know what I mean? No one in the right mind's doing this.
Doing that, Yeah. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories and lots of different clubs and cults and people with their ideas and agendas. And, I mean, it is scary to be up there, I'm sure. Like, that must have been so terrifying.
Yeah, and something like that, I mean, you hope maybe it brings people down to a different level like Trump.
Yeah, like Trump.
Maybe just keep your speeches to a minimum or whatnot. But, I mean, you wonder what that does do to someone's psyche, you know what I mean? Like, will he be as flamboyant as he has been? It kind of seems like he's been doing that still a little bit, but, you wonder if it does tone people down or just, God, man, it's still hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that people are still willing to try and do this. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, at the end of the day, they feel like they don't have any other option. That's like that last result option of what they can do. And I don't know, was he on drugs? What was the deal,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be sober unless you really have a mental issue.
Well, you can be sober, and just be mentally unstable,
I just feel like, wow, how do you do... But it's really hard to understand somebody who's in that mental state.
I mean, to put yourself in that position, that's just, that's tough to do, really, But, we were just kind of looking up maybe some verses on patience and perseverance and things like that. And we came across a few which I thought are pretty good, Like Galatians 6:9, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. And especially thinking about the way times are now, I mean, I know a lot of people might look at their faith or, look at things like, man, if there's a God, then why are all these things happening?
Right.
I mean, all these horrible things that happen in the world, And, I mean, it really is all about, that's kind of like why I wanted to look through some of these verses on patience and perseverance, because a lot of people struggle seeing these things on the news or just, anything general on the news.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can there be a God when things like these happen?
Yeah.
And people are doing these things to each other.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it's just...
Not God doing it. It's the people who
Right,
are
and that's what people
doing
need
it.
to understand is God gave people free will to do as they want. You know what I mean? Because he could have easily have said, everybody believe in me. You know what I mean? You don't have your own minds, nothing at all. Everyone read the Bible. Yeah, I mean, essentially, it's kind of like what it would be. I mean, that's kind of harsh, but yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like being a puppet. But he gave everybody free will to determine for themselves what the difference between right and wrong is. And really, to experience for themselves their own walk with God. You know what I mean? Their own relationship with God. Because, I mean, you can be force-fed this stuff all you want. But, I mean, honestly, I was as a child. I grew up in the church from being in the nursery all the way up through high school. And at one point, I got to the point of like, look, I've been force-fed this. I need to figure this out on my own. And, of course, I went down the wrong path and blah, 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 blah. But it led back to going back to church. But I mean, it was my own journey that led me back there. You know what I mean?
With God.
I mean, of course, I was there.
God.
But yeah, and of course, he did talk to me on different levels at different times of my life, and there's times where I went up and down and in and out. But,
you searched him and you found him.
Right. You know what I mean? And I think that we all at some point do have to, like, as much as we go to church or listen to our parents and teachers and, this, that, and the other, we do need to make a determination for ourselves, where we feel we're going with our relationship with God. And, in times like this, it can be pretty difficult when you hear about these things. I mean, God, man, just this Trump thing alone. And then, you've got the war in Ukraine, or you've got what's going on in Israel. I mean, or just on your own homestead with, sexual trafficking and God, man, bullying or I mean, just, I mean, all these things can just overlap each other, and it's really difficult to kind of, especially, whether you've had a relationship for a long time or a brand new relationship with God, like that could be really difficult, especially if it's brand new and you see these things going on. You're like, oh man, I don't know if I'm headed down the right path.
Hold tight though. Hold tight.
Yeah, and it really is just a matter of believing in, well, yes, listening to God, believing in Scripture, reading the Scripture, having your own personal relationship with God. And that could be reading the Bible. It could just be sitting with God and say, hey, listen, just help me, Lord.
Yes.
I open myself up to you, and, this is where my life is, and, if this is where you want me to be, I'm willing to accept that, I know when I said a prayer like that, boom, that's when things came to light, including you. Oh, stop it.
And you did this in a car driving. It was
driving
not
to work.
Like,
I was driving to work looking at those crappy silos.
Yeah, it wasn't like you had to
Texas,
light a candle. I'm thinking,
want me to
take
look at
deep
those?
breaths and light a candle. But you don't even have to do that. Just wherever you are now in this moment.
I'll be honest, most of my prayers, I think if I had to guess, 75% of my prayers are like in the car.
That's why you like driving.
Maybe, I don't know.
I guarantee it.
Or like I'm in the middle of a prayer and I'm getting out of the car and I'm walking into an establishment, whether it's work or a store or whatever,
Bringing
and I'm
that
like,
fragrance with
all right,
you.
Lord,
Beautiful.
be right back, or you know.
I pray a lot in the shower.
Yeah, especially there.
I like blast worship music. Today I did that. I was like, okay, before we podcast, I gotta go worship and wash.
Yep.
And I don't really drive that much, or if I do, it's like to go to Target or pick up the kids. Like, you have a longer drive, so you can really kind of get into it, you know?
My drive is nothing like what it used to be.
But
I almost feel like I need to zip through it sometimes. It's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to wait to the other drive home to finish. You ever do that? No?
No, I usually get it done.
Yeah.
At the beginning, or you know, I might say.
Prayers are over others. You don't really have selfish prayers.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I just kind of, like, mine's like a whole overview.
Of all your people.
Of everybody, yeah.
If Drew knows
like
you, he's
Club.
Praying for you.
Yep. You're in there,
day.
people.
Every day. Yep. Okay, so rabbit hole extravaganza. What was the other one you were going to say?
There was another one. What was it? I believe
James?
it was James. Where were we here?
11.
Was it 5:11? I believe so. Yeah. 5:11.
Continuing
As
on
you
that
know,
thread of
yeah,
patience.
like he says, you know, as you know, we count as blessed those who have persevered. You have heard of Job's perseverance and have seen what the Lord finally brought about. The Lord is full of compassion and mercy. Yeah, Job's perseverance, especially everything that happened to Job.
Man.
If you don't know the story of Job, you should look it up. But yeah, I mean, he pretty much was tested. That yet Satan actually went to God and asked permission if he could give this guy's life a living hell.
And
pretty much.
He said, yes, you can, but you cannot hurt his body.
Yeah, but you cannot hurt him.
But God knew he was going to persevere.
Yeah. I mean, the Lord, I mean, you know.
Thank you, Job, for doing that for us.
Yeah.
All these years later. You know.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
High five.
But it is. I mean, it is all perseverance because, I mean, you know, man, you know, especially these times right now, it's got to be really difficult, especially for the young kids out there. You know, we grew up in a time which is, you know, maybe difficult, but not as difficult in the sense of how it is now with
social
the way,
media,
I mean, the way people can
bullying,
reach you and things like that. Yeah, like
harm
emails,
you.
social medias, things like that. Yeah, and can cause harm or misrepresentation, you know.
Of life in general.
Yeah,
We're struggling in our own ways with our own children, and it is not ways we struggled.
Right.
And it is
yeah, I mean, we had our own ways. And,
sure.
you know, it's weird. Like, when we grew up, I feel like we were a tougher generation. We stayed out later. We fell off roofs and jumped off roofs and twisted and tumbled and tweaked our knees and just got up and rode our bikes away.
Yeah.
You know, now kids all of a sudden have to, like, YouTube everything. They're considered pro influencers. They don't want to go into a hotel if the reservation isn't ready to go.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, they're very sensitive. It seems like it's a lot more of a sensitive generation. But then they also have to grow up with these other things like cyberbullying. And and these, you know, having an Instagram account and YouTubers and, you know, things like that, kind of telling them and showing them what they should or shouldn't do. You know, their education a lot of the time, you know, comes from this. You know, we hear our children say, no, this is how it happened. I saw it on YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, you know, I mean, I remember,
that.
I don't know if it was Jack or Amelia, you know, talking about how there was a dinosaur and it was because someone had made a video and put a dinosaur behind it, you know, when they were a lot younger, you know?
Right.
And it's like, dude, no, this is not real. They just made, you know, and it's like,
you gotta really watch.
Very impressionable, this generation, you know, and it's just a lot different. I mean, it's like, at the same time, it's like they're trying to grow up so quickly. You know,
they want to label. They're
already labeling themselves quick. Yeah, and it's like, give me a break, dude.
I'm like, you don't
you're
even
11.
have your hormones
That's what you are.
yet.
Yeah,
like,
you're not a Therian. You're 11 who's confused. Okay,
right.
That's what you are.
And so, and there is, you know, if we wanted to get to something inappropriate to view, I'll say, because I know we have some younger listeners, so I want to be careful of my words here, but. You know, you had to really search it, where everything is very available now online. And so
Well, we can talk. I mean, that's
You
one of
know.
the things people struggle with is pornography.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but you're right. I mean, when I was younger, you had to go to a Walden Books and find a magazine.
Or under your parents'
Maybe a
bed.
buddy had a video or a magazine or something like that.
And it was so
I mean, and
taboo.
I'm not saying that this is good at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
it's
but we are all human beings, and granted, most of us, whether they like it or not, have to admit that they have looked at a magazine or a video or a picture,
Or you
something.
have lustfully looked
Sure.
at someone.
And when we were
Honestly,
younger, it was
all it takes.
it was difficult. You know what I mean? Like to try and find those things.
Now,
you really
all
had to
you gotta
almost
do is
commit
look
to
it
a
up.
field trip.
Yes.
When I was young, I mean, it was riding my bike to the Walden Books at the marketplace. You know what I mean? By the Trader Joe's. And, the worker, where's he at? Is he over there?
Jeez.
Oh, whole ordeal. You know what I mean?
like a
I'll
whole
admit to
day.
it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then, of course, you'd try and, buy a magazine or something as well. So you had a reason why you went there in the first place. But, I mean, everything, you just do that
committed.
and everything's whoop. It's just right there.
So the point is, don't do that, even though it's right there.
Or you get things like this on your phone that say you have a UPS package at the store and they can't deliver it. You know what I mean? Now there's all kinds of cool scams you get. Okay,
Yeah.
Or
Really?
the post office, right?
Protecting, asking Father, Son, and Holy Spirit every day to protect our children from the top of their heads, around their eyes, in their ears, to protect them from the world. So much warfare is happening on our kids.
Mm-hmm.
It is incredible. And we need our helmets of protection to be clear, wisdom, no confusion about how we're helping our kids navigate through this stuff.
Yeah, and that's what's difficult.
Being present is key.
Mm-hmm.
That is the answer.
Yeah, talking to your kids, seeing
That
where
is
they're
the
at, what
answer.
they're doing,
Yeah.
I mean, neglecting your kids, you're going to be in for a whole world of hurt.
You do not
I
want
believe.
this world raising your kids.
No, especially not today's times.
Anyway, so many rabbit holes, babe. We're running deep into the podcast.
We're running behind here.
Yeah.
Well, to get on to lighter topics,
Yeah.
we just hope you guys are all doing, well
Good
with your relationship with God. If you have one, which I hope you
Yeah.
do. There's a lot of struggles out there, and just stay strong, stay vigilant.
This is what I teach, okay? I teach in my Reiki, when I do meditations with the women that I work with, I teach them to feel their heart, close their eyes, breathe into their heart, and think of the people that they love the most. Or maybe it's a dog or an animal. I want you to feel that love space in your heart. Feel the warmth. Maybe you get chills because you're like, you love this person or this animal so much. And I want your body to just really feel it. And then I want you to think about the fact that the feeling of love is God.
Mm-hmm.
And there he is. And now spend some time with him. Boom.
Yep, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah. And then fireworks abound. Speaking of fireworks.
Well, 4th of July.
Yeah, we
did.
4th of
It's
July,
a few
that was
weeks
fun.
ago, but yeah. So as we were talking before
We did
about
that.
when they had New Braunfels, or it looks like it's like New Braunfels or something. So it's like a German city, I guess. And it's pretty cool.
So-
it was a nice, and that movie theater was awesome.
Oh
as
my
well.
gosh.
It was so cool. You went up to the place, and if you wanted candy, they had it right there. But if you wanted a popcorn or a drink, then they just gave you your cup and your bucket.
Yes.
And around the corner, they had a huge thing popcorn where you just put your own popcorn in and put your own butter and more popcorn and more butter and some salt and some butter and some salt.
Which is really great because I
Yeah.
don't like that, and
yeah.
you do.
Exactly. And I like the fact, too, is that, you asked for a large drink, and then you went over, and you can get one of their drinks, and then they have that big old huge collage of drinks from, Diet Orange Coke, or something. But then you can get an icy.
Yeah.
You didn't have to, get a Coke.
icy.
You can get a Coke, and then get an icy.
You're like-
Get an icy, and then you get a Coke.
You're more excited about it than the kids, or
I
as much
was.
excited.
I think I was.
Yeah,
But
that was
I just
cool.
thought that whole idea, that concept, and it's like, dude, they should do that for everybody. And then all you got to do is clean up the popcorn off that one little area instead of constantly behind your concession stand. Wish I had that when I was working at a movie theater. But that was totally cool.
Oh my gosh. What was something for me that was really interesting was I'm approaching my 4th year of being sober here. And everybody was like enjoying their lives and having their drinks. And I'm like living mine and enjoying mine. And I'm like, oh man, I don't feel like I need to be drunk in this situation anymore.
We bought some non-alcoholic beers and that was fine.
Yeah, I guess there was like a little like help. Coca-Cola. Having that fake taste of beer while everybody's drinking a beer or something. But there was no like deep.
No, there's no desire.
Yeah.
I'm not at all.
I'm free.
If anything, I would have one of the beers. I'm like, God, I'm full.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to drink too many because I want to
like
eat barbecue later, or something.
I just want like that first.
It's like a meal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially how hot it gets out there too. It's like you pretty much open it, you take a few swigs, and then it gets warm, and you're like,
moving on to water.
Yeah, exactly.
So I celebrated my own fireworks in that space this 4th of July. So
good job. Yep, I'm right behind you.
I wanted to. Yes, you are. You're like a month behind, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we went to Wimberley, which was close by.
Oh, yeah, that was so awesome.
And that's a cool little city. It's it's just a small little town. I guess that's what
like 20 minutes
northwest of New Braunfels, or just west of Austin, I guess, or northwest of Austin, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
And they had, what was it called? Blue Hole?
Yeah, and so it's this natural spring that's warm, and I nanny a little girl named.
Like a rope swing or a tree swing into the water and everything.
Yes,
yeah.
There was a rope swing that you could swing off of. I nanny this little girl named Wimberly, and so I wanted to go get like a rock and see it, and bring it back to her. And so we were able to do that, but they were not allowing people in. You need a reservation to go inside.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks out, yeah.
Yeah. So
and I mean, it was cool. It's a whole area where you just kind of hang out and picnic, and I guess it's just a day thing. You don't camp over there at night, right? I don't think you could.
You know what? I'm not sure, but...
Or maybe those off areas were or something. But yeah, right there by that pond or whatever.
They limit the amount of people in there, which I like that.
But they let us go down and take a look at it. They're just like, come back in 15 minutes, please, which we did.
Yeah.
Didn't have to, but we did. And, it was cool. I mean, it was, there were quite a few people there. You know what I mean? I'm sure there was a lot of pee in that pond.
Drew's mad at me because he wanted me to just let the kids go in and do it. And I had to be the one who says, no, we're following the rules.
Yep.
And if it was just the two of us, babe, I would have jumped in it. But we got to show the kids. We got to follow the rules.
No, I know.
I know. If I weren't there, though, you probably wouldn't have followed the rules.
Oh, maybe. I'm not sure. Hurry up, 5 minutes and then you're out.
Yeah.
You said 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just getting in real quickly and coming back. 15 minutes. Right? You said 15 minutes. You said we can go in. You said be back in 15 minutes.
I mean, there was not a lot of people in there. Probably could have
but they were reservations, so I don't think everybody got in there yet, too, or something. And you know what, man? It was damn hot.
It was hot.
It was like the because it's Austin area too. So I mean, it was already like 103, and then with the humidity, it was like 172.
Yeah.
Oh
my gosh. Yeah, the humidity.
But that pond though, I think that was some of the reason why I was willing to break the rules, because I was like, dude, I'm like melting right now, and there's water.
Yep.
It's like traveling through the Sahara, finding a mirage, and they're like, nope, sorry, reserved. It'd be like, F you.
Yeah.
No. But it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
And then, we celebrated your birthday. 43.
43.
Owning it. And we went and saw a 4-day weekend.
For my birthday. That's what I wanted all year long. I wanted to go to this place in Fort Worth where they have improv.
It's called 4-Day Weekends, the place. And they're moving, I guess.
But not far. They're staying in Fort Worth. Yeah,
it was called like Red Stage, or they're moving their facility, but they used to be there on Houston and 3rd, I want to say.
Yeah.
Like right there, kind of like attached to the Regatta Theater there in downtown Fort Worth. And they're a comedy troupe. They're like improv, kind of a lot like sort of like in Impractical Jokers.
Yes.
And Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Put together.
You go in there, you put some ideas on the board. Like when we went, it was like you put an idea on a card that was a phrase.
Yes.
Like a phrase that you might say, like, get back here. Or some people had some odd phrases.
Right.
Like, there was
I
some
can't
weird
really
ones.
remember, but...
And then on the Post-it, it was like a noun or something like that, I think it was, right? And so they would take the noun, and so they pick these things and do skits and stuff from it. It was about an hour and 45 minutes with an intermission in between.
They picked up some of our friends' like Sarah got 2 of hers, and I think Aline got 1 of hers, and you said something, and the guy, like, came out and pointed at you and laughed and said yes. Like, so they involved the audience, and so I really liked that. That was fun. I was planning on pushing you out there, but then I was graceful too and did not.
No, they picked people.
Yeah, I just wanted to, like, make my abs hurt from laughing, and it worked. I was very, like, that was so much fun. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah,
grab your friends.
That definitely was a lot of fun.
A group. So we have a little bit of an announcement here.
Yeah, we want to talk about an event that's coming up.
Yeah.
A couple weeks that we're going to be a part of, and then we'll either be broadcasting live, or we'll just have
footage,
an episode, and put that up on one of our episodes. But at our church, they are doing what they're calling Kingdom Warriors, and it's a men's retreat. They do these things often, men's or women's retreat type of thing. And this one they do once a year. Yeah, it's a 2-day thing where it's Friday and Saturday. If you are in the DFW area, around the Collyville area, that's where the church is. They are doing it August 2nd and 3rd. If you want to look into it, look on their website at compasschurch.com. They also have an app that you can also download and get all of their updates and events and everything that are coming up as well. We're going to be a part of it. We're going to be doing broadcasting from there and just kind of trying to get some God stories from people. And what else are we doing?
So if you have followed us, we did this for the Man Up event, and they had a speaker there, and we interviewed him. He was a football player, a retired football player. This year they're going to have...
This time it's a former Navy SEAL.
Right.
I'm gonna ask him, want to box?
Yeah.
Or wrestle?
So I'm hoping that we'll be able to interview him this year. We will only be there on August 3rd.
Yeah, we'll be there Saturday.
If you are going and you plan to, like, see us. We won't be there the first day.
On Friday, it's Friday night. It was, I think it said it was like 3 or 4 until,
and they're doing
like
a golf
8.
thing.
Yeah, and then Saturday's more the all-day thing where I think it's like 8 to 3 or 4.
Yeah, and then we'll be there. We'll be hosting.
That's the day we'll be there.
Probably in the hallway area.
Yeah.
So
check it out.
If
Look
you're
it up
a
on their
man,
website.
You're looking to connect to God and have some fun, that is happening August 2nd and 3rd at the Collyville campus.
Maybe we'll see you there.
And hopefully we'll see you there.
Boom.
So that's that. And I'm excited to share that with you guys when we get back. We're hoping to get a lot of good God stories from that. Hoping to inspire you and maybe have some stories that are relatable for you.
Yep.
So we've seen, let's see.
Yeah, moving on to some of these movies we've seen lately, huh?
Yeah, I mean, what did we see in the theater? Only 2.
Well, we saw Despicable Me 4. We saw that one.
That was super fun.
And that was pretty good.
It's cute.
And I will say, Amelia kept telling me over and over again that was her favorite.
Yes.
Her favorite movie. And I think that, she did tell me, one of the main reasons why is because of the ending.
Yeah.
She loved the ending, how it ended.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, it doesn't really give anything away, but she loved the way it ended, and it really made the movie. So, I mean, I don't think anyone's going to have any qualms with this movie. It's pretty funny. It's got your standard kind of plot, and, I did think Will Ferrell actually did a really good job of doing this very odd, off French accent thing that he did. It was good. He plays, like, the main villain, I guess, in this one, and it was good.
He was good. He wasn't, like, annoying.
Yeah.
Like, he did a good job to, like, make it funny and not be annoying.
It wasn't over the top. It definitely was not over the top. It was pretty good.
And, it's fun for the kids. It's just fun. It's just a fun movie. It just makes you feel good. It's not overly long.
It's really hard to kind of criticize a children's film. Look, I mean, if the kids liked it, that's the whole point.
Then it wins.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I mean, as adults.
Good excuse popcorn.
All right. You know what I mean? Or go fill up your tub again and get an icy instead of a Diet Coke this time.
There you go. Okay.
We also did we talk about this one before? No.
No.
The Quiet Place Day 1. We went
Yes.
and saw that one. You know, it's been a few weeks, so I guess it's been out a few weeks. But
Yeah.
I mean, this one's okay. It's not bad. I mean, it is. You know, it's interesting to see how it's done on the first day and everything. But this one has no tension. There's none of that tension like the first two did. None. And if you've seen the first two, and especially if you've seen the first two right before seeing this one, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
As cool as this sort of is to see them running through the city and these creatures are just destroying everybody and everything and buildings and glass and everything. You know, there's no tension or any sort of suspense really to me in this movie. You know, the first two, the way John Krasinski, because he directed the first two and he didn't do this one, he co-wrote this one. Oh. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but the way that he would splice those two scenes together between different parties at the end of like the second one, you know, where group of characters are at the island at the boat while the mom and the son are still in the water steam room and they're trying to fight off their thing while he's doing that. And then all of a sudden they, these different things that kind of take place. This didn't have any of that, Yeah. I mean, it's cool to check out in the theater and see these things do what they do. But yeah, I mean, it was just kind of like, yeah, all right. It was okay.
I am partial to the first two because I love Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
And I missed the, I don't know, the relationship part of it.
Yeah.
The, really
yeah, I mean, the characters are okay.
A good heart feeling for a character.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, it was good.
It was just weird how, Demon Hansu's character was in there. The black guy that was in the second one. And he's in this one, but then he really has no relevance at all.
It's so weird. Yeah,
and it's like, okay, are they trying to tie this into another one that he's going to be related to? But there was literally no point in this even being his character even being this one.
Yeah.
It was the only reason he was in there is so they could tie the other movies into that. You know what I mean? So there was a relationship between the first two movies and this one because it had that character.
It felt very separate.
So, yeah, it was just weird. It was different.
I think you fall in love with the family in the first two.
Yeah.
And so it just is a fully different movie using the same monsters.
And I guess they are going to have a third one.
Are they going to intermingle the
I don't know.
family?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they do that. Because, it's weird. I don't know.
Because you just have fallen in love with the kids and, the deaf girl and the...
for sure,
You just have,
there's a lot of different relationships.
The dad who, kills himself for his family.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, not as great as the first two, in my opinion, too. I agree with you. What about...
We went. It's I don't know why Netflix did this, but it's fine by me. But they released Beverly Hills Cop, Beverly Hills Cop 4, but it's called Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. And I loved it. I thought it was good. I thought it was great. It wasn't as good as the first one, of course, but it was way better. And I was always sort of partial to the sequel, part 2. I mean, I kind of like part 2. Third one was whatever. But this one was not as good as the first one, but definitely better than any of the other sequels.
It gave a lot of love to the first one.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the same characters are back. Yeah, I mean, Paul Reiser's back in it. John Astin, who was Judge Reinhold's partner in the first two, he's back in it. Serge is back in it. I mean, it's pretty much
because they did that, that's why it was good.
Yeah, I mean, and I like that. I like how they did that. And I mean, honestly, the set pieces they did were very well staged, I thought. Yeah. The action pieces. And I liked how they used the original soundtrack. They used a lot of the Pointer Sisters songs.
Yes, you recognize
and Shakedown and things like that. They used those songs and they played some of it with the original and also Harold Falterheimer's original score, which was that dun, 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 he did that. And so they do they had the original version of that in there, but then they do an updated version of it, a more modern version. I liked how they did that. I thought that was cool and it really related to the story. Oh, well, I mean, plus when I knew that this one was coming out, I'd already been watching the first three movies.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I love Eddie Murphy, and I mean, honestly, his 48 Hours and Beverly Hills Cop to me are some of the best stuff he's ever done. Trading Places, yes, as well.
I like him. He was a little arrogant on Jimmy Fallon, but whatever. It's fine. I guess by the time you're that famous, you can gain some arrogance.
I think some of that, though, is he's just not a very public person. You know, he's a lot like Adam Sandler, or you know, like if you see Adam Sandler, like he's very just sort of like shy and
That's so weird.
A lot of people, that's why they are the way they are, because they just let it all out and then they go back to just sort of being introverted.
It's like their
drug.
whatever.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and I know that Eddie Murphy was a lot like that. You know, he would do his movies, but then he was just kind of.
But he I don't know, he was very like self-edifying.
I don't know.
I mean, I know you don't want to hear that because you like him, and you don't want me to be judgmental because you like him.
Yeah, not supposed to be judgmental.
That's true. That's true.
No, but that was a great movie. It was good. If you haven't seen it, and if you like Eddie Murphy, it's on Netflix. You know, no charge.
Yeah, like eat, pause, pee, come back, pause, get more water.
I kind of want to watch it again. I mean, I did like that movie. I enjoyed that movie. I thought it was good.
It was a Drew thumbs up.
It was a Drew thumbs up. That's for sure. In a deep formation. In a deep formation.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well,
on to television.
Television. So
watch a few things.
We watched a documentary of a show that Drew loves, and I love too.
What was it?
What was it? You want to say it?
No.
The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, man. It's on Tubi.
Yeah.
They have all these different little documentaries on there.
It was so
they have
cool
like a
to
Back
see
to the
the
Future
background
one
of all
or anything. I think they even have a Pretty Woman one.
Oh, we gotta watch that.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
What? You married me.
I know, and now I've got to say.
Yes. You should do that for me one day.
No, we can do that. It's fine. I don't care. But this was pretty interesting. I mean, God, I have seen this movie
so many times.
I couldn't even tell you how many times, honestly. Yeah, it's easily in my top 5 favorite movies of all time.
For sure.
It's my favorite John Hughes movie.
It is.
This is my favorite John Hughes. I mean, you know, he's done all of his other ones. You know, Ferris Bueller.
Home Alone is mine.
Yeah, I mean, Home Alone's not bad.
I know it's Christmas, but I grew up with it. You know, I'm the same age, so this is like your jam. However, you told me something about this that I thought was interesting. You were only allowed an hour.
Oh yeah,
of
when I was
TV
a kid.
time.
Yeah.
So you watched that first hour.
When I was younger,
much.
yeah, in California, they had Channel 5, KTLA, and when in California, I got an hour when I was a young kid in elementary school and whatnot. Got an hour TV a night, TV, video games, whatever. So I roughly, you know, on Channel 5 on KTLA in California, they would have like movies, I think, that they would show from 8 to 10, and they'd be edited or whatnot, you know. So I never even saw the original
all the stuff
until later on. But I was allowed 1 hour TV, so I pretty much would only be able to watch the first hour of The Breakfast Club, and it would be on, like I said, KTLA would have a movie on Mondays and I think Thursdays, and 8 to 10, and so from 8 to 9, I got to watch it, and then pretty much went to bed after that. And so I know the first hour of that movie by heart.
Yeah,
Edited
you
for
do.
television, it's more like the first 45 minutes.
Yep.
But yeah, exactly.
It's so funny because you can rehearse all the lines.
Oh hell yeah!
You would say it last night. Because we watched it last night after watching the documentary, you'd be like saying it, and I would look at you and wonder what you're talking about. And then 20 seconds later, it was said. I'm like, oh, okay. Like you just knew it was coming. Yeah. I love that. I kind of feel that way about like Mannequin, Dirty Dancing, Pretty Woman. Those 3.
Mannequin.
Overboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can repeat a lot of those.
Yeah. Big Lebowski. That'd be another one, but that's more on the R side. But this was an awesome documentary.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
So good
it
to
was
see
just
that
so cool.
backs. And, you know, I was an art director for quite some time. And so it was funny. They were talking, and that interests me is he wanted to direct, and he wanted it to all be in one space. So they rented out a gymnasium of a school that wasn't in session or something.
Yeah.
And they built the set inside this gymnasium.
Yeah.
And then they had control of all the lighting and and he could really focus on the relationship.
It's pretty much one giant hollow space. It was a library.
Yeah, it's like, using a studio.
Yeah.
You know, but bigger. Yeah. Right? And so I think...
and he wanted to do it in Chicago. He didn't want to leave Chicago. You know?
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he wanted to stay in Chicago. Yes.
Yeah, and it was interesting because he had actually written Breakfast Club before 16 Candles, but they weren't sure if he was good for writing and directing it or something, so they wanted to see if he could do something else. So he wrote 16 Candles like over a weekend. And,
based on that actress.
Yeah, based on Molly Ringwald, and like a story behind her, his muse, pretty much.
Yeah.
And and then so they ended up doing that movie first and went, oh, okay, it's a breakout hit, and went on to do Breakfast Club. And it was interesting, some of the things inside Breakfast Club, like Rick Moranis. If anyone knows who Rick Moranis is, he was the father in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and he's Ghostbusters, you know what I mean? He was actually supposed to be the original janitor.
I know, that was
he was going to play it as
funny.
like some Russian guy with a gold tooth and like an accent.
Came in all wrong.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
like, wow, that wouldn't have been good. And then there was some other scene where like Vernon, who is the dean of students, the a-hole in the movie, and the janitor, who ends up being played by John Capellos, who was the groom in 16 Candles of Molly Ringwald's sister. And I totally didn't even see it, like, oh yeah, that's right. But there's a scene apparently that they cut where they're like walking down the halls and stumble across the girls' synchronized swimming team practicing naked.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what, dude? And for starters, what high school has a synchronized swimming team?
And they would never do it naked.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't do it naked. What was sad, though, is that, like, the teacher, the swim coach, this woman who was, like, beautiful young actress, and it was going to be her big break. And then they cut the scene, so she never even got her big break or whatever, you know? Like, oh, that would totally suck.
Yeah.
But that scene would not have fit, like, that just, you know, the gratuitous kind of nudity, like, man, you know, he did that in 16 Candles, you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't even need to be put there, you know?
I'm like, did he have a thing for those girls?
Yeah, I don't
see him
know.
all naked?
No, he did the same thing in 16 Candles, though. It was kind of like, all right.
All right, that's enough, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he was good, and they loved him, and he spent hours upon hours with the actors, helping them.
Oh,
really
yeah, I mean,
bring
it was like a
these
real
characters to life.
Yeah, real mentor towards these.
And they loved
very
him.
interesting.
And he's the father of one. He's in the movie at the end when he picks up.
Oh yeah, Anthony Michael Hall's character.
He's the dad in the.
Yeah, he's
he
the
put
dad that
himself
picks
in
him
the
up.
movie.
Yeah, he put himself in the movie.
Did not know that.
Anthony Michael Hall's real life mother and sister are the ones that drop him off at the beginning.
Yes,
You know?
and the little girl was the sister.
First one to get a laugh, apparently, when they had it in the movie theater. So she was the first one to get a laugh, apparently. That's funny.
So that was cute.
Yeah, it was
she
good.
She made me
It was
laugh
good.
too.
Another TV show, real quickly, that we did see, and it was interesting. It was different, and it's on Netflix as well, called Eric. This was strange. It was definitely a different type of show. It stars a guy, Benedict Cumberbatch, if I'm saying his name correctly, the guy that played Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And it's got am I trying to remember who else was in it? I don't think really anyone else that was like anyone might know.
He's the main person.
He's the main person. But he plays the creator of this sort of Jim Henson sort of morning puppet show. Kind of like a Sesame Street. And his son, there's these rash of kids that have been going missing, disappearing. And it's set in the 80s as well.
Which I love.
Yeah, and they do pretty well with the production value and stuff. It's pretty cool. But the whole story is behind his son goes missing, and this character that his son had been thinking of creating called Eric for the show sort of like becomes, I don't know, he's got like
the father's
helper and trying to find his son. He sees this
his imaginary
it's sort of
friend.
his imaginary friend. It's hard to sort of explain, but
the point is the father is sick.
Yeah. He's a little like,
he's mental, and he uses this character.
Well, he's sick like he's a drunk, and like he loves his children and his family, but he's sick mentally, and he uses his character to...
He uses the character to kind of...
find his son.
Create a way, think of, like, to talk to, like, what do you think we should do about this? It's like almost like he's lonely, has no one, like I'm trying to think of like the inner turmoil of this man. Like he's, so far gone that he himself as an adult has found his own imaginary friend to get through life. And then they show this puppet helping him. Obviously he's not there. He's like fighting this thing that's like not real.
Yeah.
And so it like just shows him like fighting himself, the monster within. I guess it's pretty deep, I think, but in my opinion, I love a good ending, and it had a good ending.
Yeah, it did have a good ending. Everything kind of wrapped up, and everything was good in it. Yeah, for sure.
But it's not a kid movie.
No, it's a 6-episode series, and it's just like a one-off series. It's not like they're having a sequel or anything like that. But yeah, it was pretty good. It was different. It definitely isn't. Yeah, it's kind of dreary in some spots.
Yeah.
But it was definitely pretty good for sure.
Yeah.
His character, boy, yeah, he does self-destruct, but then it's kind of one of those
like
reaching to the bottom to get back to the top kind of thing. But yeah, it definitely was good.
Yeah. So today we're going to go out with a song that is a Sublime song.
Yeah, it's actually, we're going to be seeing Sublime here pretty soon too.
Yeah.
But we're going to be seeing Sublime with Rome. So it's kind of interesting to me if it'll still be a Sublime with Rome or if they're somehow going to transition. Because I know that Bradley's son Jacob is now taking over the singing duties in the band.
Yeah.
But then there's been these shows that have already been scheduled with Rome. So I don't, and one of those shows is the one that we're seeing at Billy Bob's in September. It's like September 5th.
Nice, yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to transition and we're going to see Jacob.
I don't know.
Or if it'll still be Rome. But regardless, it'll be a good show for sure. But this is the first song that I guess essentially Sublime has come out with in 28 years. And look,
that's so crazy.
I dug up on some history on this song, and I thought it was kind of interesting. This song is titled "Feel Like That," and it is a collaboration between Sublime and Stick Figure, another Long Beach or LA-based kind of ska-ish, dub reggae kind of band, along the same similar likes as like a Revelation or an Iration or Slightly Stupid and Dirty Heads, things like that, or Sublime. And this song came from that there were some studio sessions, or I guess down in Austin actually. Here, Sublime back in '96, before May of that year when Bradley died, they were messing around in Willie Nelson's studio apparently in Austin.
How cool!
And there's like this song that bootleggers call Eileen, and in the song, I guess they're just kind of like haphazardly sort of just playing around with it, Bradley singing vocals on it and talking about his ass, but then there's a part in it. There's a part in it.
That part's not in it?
No, no. But while they're doing that, while they're doing like messing around, there were a few excerpts in it, I guess, where they talk about, where Bradley says, what was one of the lines that he says in here?
Like that.
Yeah, well, he talks about like there's a repetitive line in there where he ends up saying "feel like," I'm gonna feel like that or something like that. The whole line, but they ended up just taking those excerpts. This guy from Stick Figure, his name is Woodruff, and he worked over it for a few years and took Bradley's vocals out of that and put this song together. So it's essentially like they've created a new song with Bradley from Sublime doing the vocals, but it's just some of these lyrics that he was using in this haphazard sort of, they got to a spot where they were doing this sort of dub reggae kind of vibe thing, and he began singing these lyrics. So he pulled the lyrics and they created a new song out of it, and so now they have a new Sublime song. It's kind of interesting.
I'm excited to hear it.
So yeah, this song is called "Feel Like That," and it's the new one from Sublime. And yeah, guys, hope you guys are having a great time out there, and hope you're having a good rest of your vacation here, rest of your summer vibe.
Vacation. All right, we love you, and don't do drugs, and love yourself some Jesus.
Yeah, and here we go with some Sublime.
And one for the road, drop the beat to the rhythm, take us back to the show. Show your love for the people when they come, when they go. Meet your next generation and the next episode. Call me on the telephone, ask me if I know this sky is right. my days. I've been listening to the ocean and the breaking of the waves. What once was a remedy now fades away. Dimmer the lights, turn the music, microphone and the stage. Back to the rhythm, now I'm back, yeah, we moving. Everybody's getting down and everybody's moving. Rhymes are a sign of the times that we use it. Loving the life you live, live the life that you choose it.
Oh, let me tell you what I feel like that. Oh, let me tell you what I feel like that. Oh, let me tell you what I feel like that. Oh, let me tell you what I feel like. This is a dance done from north to south. This is a dance done from north to south. East, west, Panama, in Jamaica. Everybody people, move your feet down. Love my girlie, love my dog, and love my God if you don't start that war. I'm unreal when I'm on the microphone. We get real. Oh, let me tell you what I feel like that. Oh, let me tell you what I feel like that. Oh, let me tell you what I feel like that. Oh, let me tell you what I feel like. Gotta be spoken like DJ. You gotta be spoken like DJ. Oh my God, it's a relief. My eyes are red. It's so nice just to get to be here. Your voice is so loud after all these years. Won't you break me off a piece? It's only fair. Give me a little loving. Won't you give me my share? Go. It's a relief. All the words you're saying, they sound so sweet to me. I'm so glad you found me. Wouldn't change a thing. All the songs you're playing mean so much to me. If I could do it over, I wouldn't change a thing. Put your hands together, cause I'm in the studio. Put your hands together, cause I'm in the studio.
Roll that shit back. I'm being silly.